Right, let's talk a little bit about the story of Romeo and Juliet. So, it's the 1300s and we're in sunny Verona. Not to be confused with our good friend Corona. And we use the term friend here very, very loosely. Okay, so everything is lovely, happy, sunny, beautiful, tranquil. Everyone's
I
getting
didn't
along.
catch that. Could you try again?
Absolutely not. Stop listening to me. I do
Sorry,
apologise.
I can't help you with that on Apple Watch.
Well, I don't want your help. Do apologise, boys and girls, for that rude interruption. We'll carry on. So, yeah, everybody is getting on lovely. It's lovely. They're getting on. It's brilliant. Until two families, these are heads of the family, fall out. It's the Montagues versus the Capulets, and it's an absolute bloodbath. They're fighting, they're swearing, they're name calling, they're pulling hair, and they're just causing a little bit of a nuisance. And the people of Verona are absolutely livid, and rightfully so. This is when the Prince of Verona steps in. All right, Princey, how are you doing? So yeah, he steps in and he's like, right, I'm not having this. I'm not having this at all. So he declares that the next person to break the peace will be killed, slaughtered. Right? The Montagues and the Capulets both agree to this. Okay? Right. So, the next thing you need to know is that Montagues and the Capulets both loved a banging party. They are absolute party animals. A couple of bevs, bit of music, happy days. So one night, Romeo, who's a Montague, here he is, okay, his mates and him go and gatecrash a Capulet party. Little bit scandalous, but roll with it, roll with it. Picture this: the lights are low, the music's playing. Maybe there's a cheeky little bit of ABBA or something like that on. Mr. Brightside comes on, right? Romeo looks across the dance floor. He catches a glimpse of Juliet, who's a Capulet, right? It's love at first sight. They dance and boogie all night long. It's a match made in heaven. But then they're both shocked when they find out that they're both sworn anemones. They don't get on. Their families don't get on, that is. Okay? But this will not stop true love because we've all seen a Disney film and we all know that love triumphs everything. Okay, so they get their mate, Friar Lawrence, who's the local wedding man. Okay, he gets involved and he agrees to marry them both in secret. And that's that. They both moved in together, started a little family, they lived happily ever after. Well, not exactly. So since he didn't get a stag do, Romeo goes off and celebrates with his best mates, Mercutio and Benvolio. Fab. They celebrate, they have a few bevs, everything is happy as Larry. Although Larry here isn't as happy as Larry is made, that everybody makes Larry out to be. And actually, Larry isn't actually called Larry, he's called Tybalt, and he's Juliet's cousin, alright? This is where things get a little bit complicated, a little bit violent. So Tybalt confronts Romeo and his mates about him marrying Juliet. He's not happy. He's livid. Okay, this does not go down well at all. They get into a fight. 3-on-1 doesn't sound too fair. Well, actually, Tybalt kills Mercutio, which obviously doesn't go down well with our mate Romeo. Romeo then avenges Mercutio's death and kills Tybalt to get his own back. Now you'd think that both sides were now even, okay? One kill on each side. And go back to everybody living back in peace and harmony, and then we all live happily ever after. Well, not exactly. So our man, Prince Verona, hears about their scuffle and says it's not on. And he's got to keep his word. Fair play to him. There's not often you see people in power that keep to their word. Okay, but because there'd already been so much fighting and death and violence, he decided to spare Romeo his life. And instead, he banishes him off to deepest, darkest Antarctica with the abominable snowman Monsters Inc. style. Okay, maybe we don't actually know that he was sent off to Antarctica. Actually, probably definitely wasn't. But, we can dream. Anyway, one thing that we actually know is 100% real life true is that both Romeo and Juliet were heartbroken. Absolutely heartbroken. And understandably. So Lord Capulet, this fella over here, okay, he's Juliet's dad. he decides that she should marry Paris. No, not the country. Paris County. No, not like a county. That's his name. No, not Paris as in Paris Hilton. Paris the person, Paris County. Yeah, this guy here. This guy. This is him. The guy that's in this story. Paris County. There he is. Bit of a hunk. But Juliet doesn't want him. She wants Romeo, so she refuses and turns to her mate, our mate, everyone's mate, the local wedding man, who's apparently also quite the ideas man, Friar Lawrence. Okay, so they come up with a super top secret covert undercover plan to reunite Juliet with her beloved hunk, Romeo. And they can live happily ever after, the end. Well, not exactly, okay? So Juliet, as part of this plan, fakes her own death. I know, pretty dramatic if you ask me, but, you know, who am I to judge? She waits inside a tomb, waiting for Romeo to come, so that they can live happily ever after, in love, peace, harmony, and have lots and lots and lots and lots and lots of babies. And finally bring the two families together. When two become one. Sorry, I got a little bit distracted there. However, here's where the issues begin. Romeo had run out of 4G and couldn't check his Snapchat for the message telling him about the plan. Okay, maybe the bit about running out of 4G and Snapchat isn't true, but he defo didn't get the message about the plan. And he thinks that Juliet is actually real life dead instead of just pretend dead. So, poor old Romeo then drinks some poison that he, coincidentally had on him, so that he can be reunited in the afterlife with his one true love, Juliet. But shock! Juliet wakes up. Didn't see that one coming, did we? Like we didn't see that coming. I said that twice. Don't know why I said it twice, but we're going to roll with it. And he finds Romeo dead next to her. But like actually dead, and not just pretend dead, like she was pretending to be. She then grabs the closest thing to her, which coincidentally happened to be a dagger, which was famous for killing people. Famous for it. And kills herself in it so that she can be reunited in the afterlife with her one true love, Romeo. A bit sad, really, isn't it? Well, this is where the story lightens up a little bit, and things actually do get better. So the Capulets and the Montagues are both, understandably, absolutely devastated at the loss of Romeo and Juliet, and vow to never, ever, ever argue. Not even over, like, silly little things like who leaves the toilet seat up. I don't. Just want to put that out there. And then they all lived happily ever after. Except for everyone that died along the way. The end.